Testing for YouTube. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for being here. We will call to order our regular meeting of council and start by recognizing that we work, live, and play in the city of Port Alberni, which is situated on the unceded territories of the Shuswap and Hupachesit First Nations. Council, we do have an agenda in front of us. Are there any late items to add? Seeing none, any late items from our corporate officer?
No late items, Madam Mayor.
Okay, would somebody like to move approval of our agenda? Moved by Councillor Solda, seconded by Councillor Mealy. Any comments on the agenda? Seeing none on the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried, none opposed. And on to adoption of minutes. We have minutes from the special meeting and regular meeting of council on October 1st, 2025 to be adopted. Moved to adopt by Councillor Solda, seconded by Councillor Dame. Any comments on the minutes? Seeing none on the motion, all in favor? Carried, none opposed. We have no delegations or unfinished business today, so on to staff reports. Item number 1 is quarterly departmental reports, and we're going to start with corporate services today.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council, for the opportunity to present the Corporate Services Department quarterly report for Q3. During the third quarter, Corporate Services has continued to provide essential administrative, legislative, and communications support to Council and the organization. Focus areas this quarter included preparation for the upcoming fall council schedule, development of records management privacy impact assessments, and continuing to enhance public engagement in corporate communications. The 2025 summary of council resolutions captures 59 directives of council during the third quarter of July 1st to September 30th. Of the 366 resolutions for 2025, 18 resolutions are in progress or remain outstanding. Additionally, there are 10 unresolved resolutions from the years 2023 to 2024, and these have been included as attachments. An interesting highlight is some revenue generated. It's not reflected in our budget. It's in our general fund from Harmonia film permits, and that totaled just over $41,000. This revenue comes from 2 operational charge invoices and 8 filming permits that took place in various areas around the community, including McLean Mill. Some key activities and initiatives include the adoption of 8 bylaws, 4 policies that were approved, and the execution of 11 agreements. Regarding the budget, financially, Corporate Services is on track in Q3 with expenditures reflecting a 28 favorable variance. As we move into Q4, we will continue to ensure timely council agendas, effective policy reviews, agreement review and generation, and continued compliance with FOIPA. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions before handing it over to Alicia to review communications, followed by Mary Claire to review community safety and social development. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from council? Councillor Mealy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Not much of a question, just want to touch on the film permits for production. Just really appreciate that with policy in place that the taxpayers are able to bring in almost $42,000 for the use of city properties. So really appreciate that from the film and of course staff as well for making that happen. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, I think Manager of Communications was next.
Thank you very much. Good day. I'm here today to deliver the Q3 report from July 1st to September 30th on the timely, transparent, and accessible information that we provide in an effort to support public engagement and enhance trust in local government. From our print and promotional campaigns in this third quarter, we produced 6 City Connect ads. They focused on being fire smart around your property, being bear smart, water meter readings around town, water restrictions, and some of the work that was happening on the Kitsuxis Dike slope stabilization. We also sent out our City Connect newsletter in tandem with the utility bill that goes to approximately 7,000 households. This publication really focused on giving thanks to all those that worked to respond to the Mount Underwood wildfire. And then on the reverse side, we were featured information that was really pertinent to this past season, being Voyant Alert, registering for your emergency alerts, knowing the rules on street storage to help support bylaws efforts, the benefits for registering through the e-billing My City platform, and then how to be bear smart in Port Alberni. We also did our Valley Vibe magazine. This is an annual contract that we have with them. Two-page spread for this quarter featured on the work that the city, Sechot, and Hoopachesset have undertaken on the Clutha Haven revitalization. And then as well, we had a full page in Douglas Magazine looking to incentivize investors to looking at Port Alberni for their future. I've provided there for you some images to help support your understanding of what those campaigns look like. For media relations and public information, this past quarter really focused heavily on the Mount Underwood wildfire. I was seconded into the Emergency Operations Center for several weeks to assist the ACRD and the city in communicating out to the region the issues that were surrounding the wildfire. It is protocol now for the city whenever we're undergoing such a large emergency that our Facebook page primarily becomes the conduit of information. And so you will see in times of emergencies that some of the other campaigns and initiatives that the city typically would be communicating out on stop, and we dedicate the platform solely towards the emergency response. While we were going through that, we also sent forward 4 official news releases, one of them being on the return of ICE in the Alberni Valley Multiplex, recognizing the opening of Cecil Dawson's exhibition with the Alberni Valley Museum, moving into stage 3 water restrictions, which were in response to the Mount Underwood wildfire, and then returning to stage 1 water restrictions when that emergency eased slightly. For digital engagement, social media remains a key pillar of the city's communication strategy. So for this third quarter, we had 144 Facebook posts. As I stated, many of them circle around the Mount Underwood wildfire, but we also highlighted some of the city-led community events, campfire prohibitions, tsunami alerts, traffic impacts, and findings from the Transportation Master Plan engagement, as well as the efforts supporting Orange Shirt Day and the Walk for Truth and Reconciliation. Total organic views was just under 600,000, with content interactions holding steady at around 400,000. We welcomed 392 new Facebook followers. Our total number of Facebook followers right now is just shy of 7,000. On Instagram, we had 84,000 views with total content interactions around 794. And we welcomed 117 new Instagram followers, bringing our number to 2,419. I have stated in the past that due to evolving platform dynamics and audience engagement, we've temporarily eased the use of Twitter, and we focused our communication efforts more on channels that better serve our community, and that includes Facebook, Instagram, our city website, and the Let's Connect Port Alberni page. Our Let's Connect Port Alberni page on that had approximately 2,000 visitors this past quarter. We didn't stand up any new project pages, but in the fourth quarter, we are doing some significant master planning engagement, so we will see visitors and registrations increase on that platform. And some civic recognition and community moments. These aren't necessarily things that derived from my shop, but are areas that we support and celebrate. So we had our Celebrate Port Alberni event on Canada Day, and that was really well attended. We published our What We Heard summary report for the Transportation Master Plan. On September 30th, we walked side by side with our local nations and many others for the Day of Truth and Reconciliation, and assisted in helping make that event a success that was led by Sechot First Nation. On September 25th, beside both nations, we raised the flag for truth and reconciliation at City Hall. We also hosted a Port Alberni Special Olympians event with members of council to celebrate their successes from the 2025 BC Special Olympics Summer Games. And then this belongs more with economic development, but the city, Sechot, and Hoopachesset won 2 2025 BC Economic Development Awards for their collaboration on Clutha Haven. So I continue to remain focused on supporting transparency, strengthening our community connection, and delivering information in a way that's accessible, timely, and responsive. Always looking for ways to improve, always looking for ways to engage. One of them that is going to be coming down the pipeline on short order is our 3rd annual City Connect, or Connect with Your City open house, which right now is scheduled for November 26th, and more will be coming out to the public and council on that in the days and weeks ahead. Ready for questions if you have any. Thank
Thank you very much. Councillor Haggard.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I noticed that one of your initiatives was Fire Smart. So I think as time goes on, we'll forget how close the Mount Underwood fire was to us and how scary it was. So I think the Fire Smart campaign is going to have to always be top of mind. And I'm going to suggest that maybe the city work with the ACRD when it comes to be like spring, early summer on some kind of Fire Smart campaign, because that's going to affect all of us in the community. So just a suggestion. Thank you.
Wonderful note. Thank you, Councillor Haggard.
Thank you. Councillor Mealy.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor, and not much of a question, just again a comment. Thank you very much for all the work, especially being taken up to the Emergency Operations Center and probably just chained to the desk up there, Alicia. But I really appreciate it because the ACRD emergency program, BC Wildfire, really got a lot of information out at the time. For anybody, you didn't have to be in the community. I had family members abroad who were able to keep an eye on things and make sure, are you guys okay in Port Alberni? Well, that was a big question. But with all that information coming out, really appreciate all the work that you did. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And truly, it was an incredible experience to be in there. Every time our emergency or our community is faced with an emergency, whether it's something that comes to fruition or is just in the advisory stage, we have learned a tremendous amount and only continue to improve. And where we've come just from 2016, when I first joined this community, is so far. And it's incredible work that the city and ACRD are doing together jointly. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, not seeing any other questions. Thank you very much for the report, and we will move on to community safety and social development.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm here to report the Community Safety and Social Development Quarterly Report for July 1st to September the 30th. I'll start with bylaw services, and in Q3, one of our highlights throughout the quarter was to resolve a long-standing property maintenance and zoning violation had been going on for over 3 years. Quite a bit of work had gone into it, and there was a resolution on it, which is a real success. As well, the team managed 23 encampments, 52 property maintenance files, and 100 traffic violation files. Overall, our number of complaint calls are up in this quarter from 274 last year to 288 this year. And our total to date for the 3 quarters is 690 calls. Presently, we have, at the end of September, we had 69 open files. And our outstanding fines that we have amount to $44,000. Our debt collection services, we're hoping to have it running, actually, we were optimistic to have it running in Q3, but we'll probably have it up in Q4. The overall total fines for collections are $88,000. That fluctuates depending on the period of time that we actually make the transition. Be happy to answer any questions on bylaw before moving on to community policing.
Councillor Solda.
Thank you for that part of the report here. But I do have a collection. I do have a question on collections. So the $88,290, is that including Port Pub in that mix, or is that just a whole separate thing?
Thanks for the question, and through the chair. That's collected through property taxes. It's put on the property, and then we would follow the legislative process if the taxes aren't paid.
So the 88,000 plus is fines collected. Is it from just unsightly yards, dog fine, pets and stuff like that?
Thank you for the question. Through the chair, the total fines would be all fines attributable to bylaw complaints. So it could be traffic violation, property maintenance, parking, etc. Okay, seeing no more questions, I'll move on to community policing. There's 20 active volunteers in community policing. They contributed for a period of July and August over 500 hours. We have a volunteer program that does our stats, and so sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. So in Q4, I'll be capturing 4 months of time. There was a number of core program deployments, Crime Watch, Distracted Driving, and Speed Watch. Overall, there was 99 deployments, and so that's an average of close to 50 per month. So that means shifts of going out and doing work, which is quite a large number for a small group. So I really commend the community policing volunteers. They were very active at the Canada Day event down at the Harbour Quay. And we held one summer appreciation lunch for the volunteers. I'd be happy to entertain any questions on community policing if there are any.
Councillor Mealy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just because we're on YouTube, if you would like to volunteer for the community policing program, how would they do that?
Thank you. Through the chair, that's an excellent question. What we're looking at doing in the next quarter is for anyone that's interested, we're going to hold an orientation session to inform people about doing what community policing is all about and the value of volunteering.
Any other questions from council? Seeing none, go ahead.
So I'll move on to social development. Social development is where we work to administer the role of convening, facilitating, and coordinating community social services. There's a number of tables that we sit at in order to do such. One is the Alberni Valley Continuum of Care, and we formed a coalition, so we had one quarterly meeting through this last period of time. Through that, we've developed a community mapping project, which we had presented in July to the Committee of the Whole. We also participated in the Community Action Team. There were 13 situation table meetings that were convened with 2 individuals lowering their risk levels during that period of time. So that's 2 people that were referred to the table amongst all the other referrals, and those 2 people are now involved with services. We're starting to work on the neighborhood mitigation plan for social hotspots. And through the coalition, we've met a number of the short-term and medium-term action items, and some of them are still ongoing, so they're within your report. Our overall budget, turning to the budget, our budget for the bylaw department is just over $400,000. It looks like it's largely inflated in our expenditures, but really it's because there's a number that are attributed that will be transferred over to property taxes for a remedial action requirement for a nuisance property. The bylaw enforcement vehicle budget is on track. We're probably a little bit underspent in that budget, only because of the fact that when the bills come in for the enforcement vehicles. Community policing budget is on track for the remainder of this year. So I'll be happy to entertain any further questions.
Thank you very much for the report. Any questions from council? Seeing none? Awesome. Thank you very much. We will move on to our next quarterly report, which is development services.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. For you today is the Q3 report from Development Services, and I'll provide a brief overview for you here today. In Q3, we successfully filled 2 vacant planner positions in Development Services with the help of the Director of Human Resources. The first planner started in July, and the second planner is expected to start at the end of October in Q4. But this has already added a fair amount of capacity to our team for development review and community planning, and we're looking forward to the second planner starting so that we can have a complete team going forward into 2026. In terms of permits and land use applications, in Q3, the construction value of issued building permits reached over 32 million, with exactly 60 new residential units. And permit processing times were approximately 6 to 8 weeks. And a development permit was approved for 2972 3rd Avenue, and that's the red building between Angus Street and Marr Street. And the new owners of that building are creating a mixed-use development with 5 residential units above a commercial ground floor. And the approving officer gave final approval to 4 subdivisions and issued 10 layout review letters, and council approved a temporary use permit for Clutesy Haven Marina for shipping containers to be part of the retail market. The city received 11 new development applications in Q3 for a total of 38 applications this year. In the last quarter, we received all types of development applications, but in particular, we received 2 new temporary use permit applications for a total of 5 of this year. That's very unusual for us. We might receive 1 application a year for a TUP maximum. These are mostly related to bylaw enforcement actions. The city also approved 58 business licenses and completed 38 property search requests. In terms of the budget for development services in Q3, operational and consulting expenses are still under budget, and this is primarily due to those staff vacancies I mentioned. However, there could be a shortfall in permit revenue this year because several large developments have not come in to pick up and pay for their permits, and it is at pickup where we collect the fees and charges. And that's all for my update today, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much for the report, and I will just say, extremely thrilled to hear about the development permit on the red building. So thank you for sharing that. I'm happy to hear that something is moving forward with new owners on that building. Councillor Mealy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And that's the old CGAV building, am I not correct? Yes, thank you very much. Thank you so much. That's great news for the Uptown and everybody involved. Also, just really happy to have the 2 planner positions filled as well. So thank you very much to yourself, Director of Human Resources, and everybody who filled those positions. So finally a full team, or so much a full team, I guess. Thank you.
Fuller. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, thank you very much for the report, Brian. And we will move on to Human Resources.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Included in your package is the written quarterly report for Human Resources and Police Support Services for the period ending September 30th, 2025. And today I will touch on some highlights for you. So, recruitment. I feel like every time I bring you an update, it's dealing with some recruitment successes, but we continue to be very busy. We filled a number of roles, including a couple within Parks, Rec and Culture. So Director of Parks, Recreation and Culture, as well as our Manager of Recreation Services. Those positions were both filled, and the new employees will be starting in the next couple of weeks. As well as mentioned already, we filled a second planner position, and that person will be starting soon as well. We had additional hiring processes in a number of other areas, including water operator and wastewater operator positions. And those are, just want to note, those are positions that we filled with people who have the certifications required in order to perform those jobs and have elected to leave positions in other municipalities and come and work for the city of Port Alberni. So that's always nice to see. Come with different experiences and all of the onerous training already under their belt. So we brought on a number of new recreation staff, and so those are the folks that you see running recreation programs through the fall and winter seasons. So a lot of work there. In terms of priorities for Q4, we will enter into quite a comprehensive review of our current job evaluation program with CUPE, and that is an item that came out of our bargaining process earlier this year. And as you'd expect, our annual performance review processes will happen in Q4 as well. Moving along to safety, this year we decided to go through the audit process for the core, the WorkSafe BC core audit, a little bit earlier in the year. So that was completed in September. We were in an external audit year, so we are waiting for the results that will come to us in the next couple of weeks. And so that's, I think probably everybody's aware, but that's an audit program that really looks at all of our, the key components of our occupational health and safety program, provides us with feedback and with areas to be improved. We continued some work around violence risk assessment. So we did that process for Parks, Recreation and Culture public facilities, as well as the planning and engineering building. We also hosted some training sessions with WorkSafe BC. They have a division that is the return to work consultation and education services. And so we had some information sessions that were attended by CUPE and IAFF staff and union reps, as well as managers and supervisors. So this training was focused on return to work best practices, as well as some new legislative requirements called Bill 41. And that includes obligations for employers and for workers around duty to cooperate and duty to maintain employment. I'm talking about that at a very high level, but it was an excellent training session for everybody involved so that we all understand exactly what our obligations and requirements are. Q4 priorities for in the safety side of things are a couple of things that we know were noted in the core audit. So some work on our inspection policy, as well as our respiratory protection program, and then doing review of the violence risk assessments that we conducted as well. So in police support services, some of our Q3 activities were the onboarding, security clearance, onboarding training for some additional staff, the equipment room renovation that you all heard a lot about over last year and through the budget process. That is almost complete. Body-worn cameras are expected now to be implemented in January of 2026. So finishing touches are being put on that renovation, and that will be ready in time. There was also an RCMP building security assessment completed in March, and the report from that assessment was received in this quarter. So what will happen now is that those recommendations will be reviewed, prioritized, and potentially brought forward for future budget consideration. And I think those are the highlights. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be pleased to answer them.
Thank you very much. Questions from council? Seeing none. Thank you very much for the thorough report.
Thank you.
All right, I think that's all our reports for today. Would somebody like to move receipt? Councillor Mealy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Move the council receive the Q3 quarterly reports from the Corporate Services, Development Services, and Human Resource Departments for the period of July 1st to September 30th, 2025 as information.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Mealy, seconded by Councillor Patola. Any further comments? Seeing none on the motion, all in favor? Carried, none opposed. Thank you, everyone. And on to bylaws. Item number 1, permissive tax exemption bylaw 5090-2, 2025. And this is just final adoption. Councillor Dame, would you like to read this?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that permissive tax exemption bylaw 5090-2, 2025 be now finally adopted, signed by the mayor and corporate officer, and numbered 5090-2.
Moved by Councillor Dame, seconded by Councillor Mealy. Any comments from council? Seeing none on the motion, all in favor? Carried, none opposed. Item number 2, we have animal control and pound bylaw amendment, and we have a report from our manager. Go ahead, Mary Claire.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. The animal control and pound bylaw amendment before you was as a result of a discrepancy that we noted in the bylaw, and to make it easier for all, there were 3 changes made to the wording to section 41, section 44, and one of the schedules was removed, and Schedule B was removed. So this bylaw makes it consistent with the bylaw enforcement notice bylaw and the wording in that bylaw. And so we worked on the amendment in order to make sure that it is consistent with all other bylaws.
Great. Any questions from council? Okay, seeing none, Councillor Patola.
Thank Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the animal and pound bylaw number 5126-1, 2025 be now introduced and read for a first time.
Moved by Counselor Patola, seconded by Counselor Solda. Seeing no comments on the motion, all in favor? Carried, none opposed. Counselor Patola.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move second reading.
Moved by Counselor Patola, seconded by Counselor Solda. Seeing no questions or comments on the motion, all in favor? Carried, none opposed, and Counselor Patola.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I move third reading of the animal control and pound bylaw number 5126-1, 2025.
Thank you. Moved by Counselor Patola, seconded by Counselor Solda. Any final comments on this piece? Seeing none. On the motion, all in favor? Carried, none opposed. All right. On to correspondence for action. We have two items today. Number one is a letter received October 8th, 2025 from the ACRD offering partnership in their grant applications to the UBCM Emergency Preparedness Fund. Councillor Haggard, would you like to read this one?
Thank you. I'd like to move that council provide approval for the Alberni Clayoquot Regional District to apply for the Union of BC Municipalities Community Emergency Preparedness Fund for emergency support services and therefore authorizes the ACRD to apply for, receive, and manage grant funding on behalf of the City of Port Alberni.
Moved by Councillor Haggard, seconded by Councillor Solda. Any discussion? Seeing none, on the motion, all in favor? Carried, none opposed. And item number two, we have a letter from Coastline Endurance Running dated September 26, 2025, requesting council authorization for access to city streets and trails for their running event. Councillor Solda, would you like to read this?
Madam Mayor, I move that the council authorize Coastline Endurance running access to the city streets trails on Saturday, June 6, 2026 from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for the purpose of a trail running event starting at E.J. Dunn Elementary School and following the route as outlined in the attached map, subject to the notification of emergency services and BC Transit, consultation with the affected businesses, residents, provisions of a traffic safety plan completed by a certified professional, including qualified traffic control personnel as required, provision of standard liability insurance in the amount of $5 million minimum, and just getting ordered. Look at this, she keeps me in track here, love it. And review by event organizers of the report of the Study Commission of Inquiry into the Community Event Safety dated June 26, 2025. Event organizers responsible for removal of all flagging tape and stakes. Event organizers acknowledge that these trails are open to the public and as such, trails will be needed to be shared accordingly. Event organizers acknowledge trails will be enjoyed as is. Event organizers acknowledge that authorization for route sections on the non-city property requires separate approval from corresponding property owners' agencies.
Oh, great work. Thank you, Councillor Solda. Moved by Councillor Solda, seconded by Councillor Mealy. Any discussion? Councillor Mealy.
No, I'm not exactly sure on the dates. I know, but they're asking for, and I say that don't know the dates. The grad parade is usually in the early part of June. So I notice we have a trustee here. So if you could take it back and keep it in your mind that June 6th, we have some restrictions on the roads, that'd be great. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, thank you. And I don't think the dates have corresponded in the past. Absolutely, I think that's a great comment. And I know this event has, I think this is their third year. Fourth, okay, yeah, it's been a really positive event in the community. So great to see them continuing to come back. Maybe fifth, okay. Seeing no other comments on the motion, all in favor? Carried, none opposed, thank you. We have no proclamations today, and for correspondence for information, I'll go to our corporate officer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have the 97th parliamentary session open for application from the Youth Parliament of BC. We have an update on Phase 3 engagement timelines from the Ministry of Forests as it pertains to the Heritage Conservation Act Transformation Project Team. We have the special report for 2025 from the Forest Enhancement Society of BC and BC First Nations Forestry Council. The 2025 point-in-time homeless count final results from the Ministry of Housing and Municipal Affairs. Vancouver Island Regional Library has provided their 2026 to 2030 financial plan. we received board highlights from the ACRD for August and September. And lastly, the June 6 AV Museum and Heritage Commission minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would somebody like to move to receive? Sorry, and
Well,
speak
motion
to
to
any
receive.
items, but motion to receive from Councillor Mealy, seconded by Councillor Solda, and I'll go to Councillor Mealy first.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just on the first one, Youth Parliament of British Columbia Alumni Society comes every year. So if we could just send that to the school district to send to ADSS, it's something we do, something I've done in the past. I'm a former Youth Parliament person myself, so it was a big learning experience for me and a big reason why I still sit in this chair. So, but every year, yeah, it'd be nice to just send it to the school district to make sure that somebody at the high school has it. And if we have anybody eligible within the community at high school who would like to go, that'd be great.
Absolutely, and we'll forward it along to North Island College as well. Yes, thank you. But no, fantastic. Councillor Solda's thought. Go ahead, Councillor Solda. Any other items councillors would like to speak to? Okay, motion to receive is moved and seconded. On the motion, all in favor? Carried, none opposed. And report from in camera, I will go to our corporate officer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So just one item today that Council released for public consumption, execution of a rental agreement with the Sunshine Club for a 5-year term.
Thank you. And on to council reports. Are there any items councillors would like to speak to? Okay, seeing none, would somebody like to move receipt of council's reports? Moved by Councillor Mealy, seconded by Councillor Dame. On the motion, all in favor? Carried, none opposed. And on to new business. Item number 1 is Alberni Harbor Quay Port Building Roof Replacement. Mike.
Great, thank you. With our facilities manager off today, I'm going to be presenting the report on his behalf. And, you know, we have just undergone the releasing of the Harbor Quay building, formerly known as the Starboard Grill. There's going to be significant renovations happening over the next 3 months. And when we reviewed the roof repairs that were done as an interim measure before full replacement, we decided with the amount of repairs that are going to be undergoing that it would be a timely manner to replace the roof at the same time. Our facilities manager did do a rendering of what the roof will look like with the standard seam. So it is sort of a charcoal in color, matching sort of a West Coast theme, one of the most popular colors in the West Coast theme. The full budget would be about $100,000 to do the roof, and this falls within our asset renewal reserve, which is built up of some of our lease money. 50% of all our leases go into an asset renewal fund for repairs like this. We did do an interim repair on the extent of Harbor Quay, which was a lot of fasteners that were causing current leaks. However, this facility under our facility assessment was deemed at end of life, and that was sort of limping it on. So with the increase to the value of the property with the repairs, administration felt it urgent to get this to council and do this at the same time the building is being upgraded. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. I will just start by saying that I like the color. And I know several years ago we had a discussion actually on one of the committees that was in place working through the chamber to talk about like adding color at the Harbor Quay, and the roofs being the color they are was sort of one of the limiting factors around that. It was hard to add color when you already had this weird colored roof. So while I think it looks a little dark in the picture, you can see that's largely because of the shadows underneath. But I think it really gives an opportunity to do a lot more as we start to refresh both that building as well as the other buildings at the Harbor Quay, and maybe add a lot more color in some of those, like to enunciate the different unit spaces that exist there. So I think this is a really good sort of base to move forward with. I'm happy to see that we considered sort of a change rather than just replacing what was there with the same color. And yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense as well if there's other work going on at the building to proceed with doing this now, given that it does need to be done, and we want to make sure that the asset is protected. Councillor Solda.
This is going to be funny. But this is where I say it looks a little dark. So, because normally we're the same, but maybe it's the shadow, and I just wanted more vibrancy, but that's okay. Maybe, yeah. And I just worried, that color shows the dirt more or anything that falls on it. Hey, I'm just out there. I'm not an interior decorator or anything like this. I just find it a little dark, so I'll be pleasantly surprised, I'm sure. Thank you.
Mike?
Yeah, and thanks for the observation on that. I think the Wolf Tower will really show up against the black, and also it illuminates other chances for placemaking. And placemaking is trying to make the feel down there what we want it to be. And where this is an asset that is going to last 40 to 50 years, we believe that it should be able to be enhanced by art and other items around, drawing people down to that area. So although extensive color array wasn't looked into, we did talk with our friend AI and talk about the best colors that are used for a West Coast theme area in a recreational area. And it did talk about how this type of roof color, either this or a darker color, is better for placemaking and allowing the businesses that are opening there to add their own flavor to the area. So we did talk about it, and we're hoping that it does work out.
All right, we'll go with that. And again, I'll be pleasantly surprised. I have a blue metal roof, so I do like metal. So, you know, there you go. Thank you on my house.
Thank you. Other comments? Councillor Haggard?
I love the color. And if I could, I'd like to read the motion, if I may. I'd like to move that council amend the draft 2026 to 2030 financial plan as follows. Allocate funding from asset renewal, leased facilities reserve, $100,000. Add capital plan 2026 facilities, Alberni Harbor Quay, Port Building, $100,000 for the replacement of the metal roof of the Port Building at Harbor Quay in 2026.
And that just because.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Haggard, seconded by Councillor Solda. Any discussion? Seeing none on the motion, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried, none opposed. Thank you. On to question period. This is an opportunity for members of the public to ask questions of council on decisions or recommendations made during the course of the meeting. Would any members of the public like to ask questions? Seeing none, would somebody like to move adjournment? Moved by Councillor Mealy, seconded by Councillor Dame. On the motion, all in favor? Carried, none opposed. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.